presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Buffalo. We are Ohio.
Right back up the middle, Michael Bourne with a single to start the game. And now he turns, he's going to go for two. He caught Morse with his head down. A hustling double by Michael Bourne. There's a long fly ball, deep center field. Saunders back, he's out of room, it's out of here. Montero jumps on, throws to first, he just got him. And Montero's late, getting back to the plate, and Vila scores! Oh, another hustle play for the Indians.
God, do I love that. That is absolutely beautiful.
Today at Progressive Field, it's a high noon series finale between the Cleveland Indians and the Seattle Mariners. Hi again, everyone. I'm Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. The Indians needed last-at-bat walk-off wins to take the first two games of this series. Yesterday, they simply out-hustled Seattle to win the third straight. Now today, Rick, as the old saying goes, what do they do for an encore? It'll be another tough task. Hisashi Iwakuma for Seattle, the lefty Scott Kazmir for the Tribe.
Well, Scott Kazmir has pitched, it seemed like, better and better every time. He did take a loss in his last start to the Phillies, but he's shown good velocity on his fastball, a good breaking ball, and also a good changeup, and he's been tough on left-handers. So if Scott Kazmir, 3-3 in his career against the Seattle Mariners, matched up against a tough right-hander. Iwakuma this year, 5-1. This guy controls every pitch that he has. He's got the slider, a split, a changeup, a good fastball, and he stays in the strike zone. You're going to have to manufacture runs. He doesn't give up a lot of hits. He doesn't walk a lot of batters. He's got 5 games this year where he has not walked a hitter, so you're going to have to take advantage. He does not have a record. He's making his third start against the Indians.
Well, I mean, he's not a Johnny-come-lately either. Since he went into the rotation last July, he's 13-5 with a 2.34 ERA. So, obviously, a very good matchup here this afternoon in the series finale. Can Scott Kazmir keep the ball rolling for the Indians and pitch another gem? And will the Bats continue to thrive against Seattle? All the play-by-play action is coming up next. Tribe fans have their brooms out as the Indians try to sweep a 4-game series from Seattle this afternoon. The Indians winners in 17 of their last 21 games. What a run this club is on. They lead the Detroit Tigers by 2 games in the American League Central Division standings with a mark of 25-17. Seattle, on the other hand, comes in now 3rd place in the AL West, 9 games back front-running Texas. The Mariners 20-24 now on the year. Scott Kazmir, the left-hander, will go for the Tribe. The right-hander, Hisashi Iwakuma, will go for Seattle. The Indians take the field here on a gorgeous day in downtown Cleveland. Our game-time temperature will be 81 degrees. Just a few clouds overhead. A lot of kids in attendance. Weather Education Day going on before the ball game here this afternoon. While Scott Kazmir makes his warm-up tosses, let's have a look at the starting 9 for Eric Wedge and the Seattle Mariners. Michael Saunders in the leadoff spot, followed by Jason Bay, who gets his first start in the series. Kyle Seager hits 3rd. Then Kendry Morales clean up. Michael Morse 0 for 7 in the series, batting 5th. Justin Smoak 6th. Then former Indian Kelly Shopping will bat 7th. Robert Andino 8th. Brendan Ryan batting 9th.
Scott Kazmir making his 6th start today for the Cleveland Indians. He is 2-2, an ERA of 5.33. It'll be his 10th career start against the Seattle Mariners, where his record is 3-3. He has a nice ERA against him in the past, 3.27. But Scott coming off a start against the Philadelphia Phillies, where he went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, a couple of home runs. The Indians lost that ball game 6-2. But he was the pitcher on the mound when they swept that 4-game series against the Oakland A's. So they're going to try and do that again today. Let's check out our Kia Indians defense. It'll be Brantley in left, Bourne in center, Rayburn is in right, Reynolds at 3rd, Cabrera at short, Kipnis is at 2nd, Swisher at 1st, Jan Gomes behind the plate.
Laz Diaz calling the balls and strikes this afternoon. Tim Timmons at 1st. The crew chief Mike Winters is at 2nd, and Mark Wagner down at 3rd. Michael Saunders steps in, and we're just about ready to go here today. Seattle heading west after today's ball game. They're going to Anaheim to play the Angels for 2 before they head home. Indians will host the Tigers the next 2 days here at Progressive Field. Saunders takes a strike, and we're underway. Saunders 1 hit and 9 at bats so far in the series. A little bit low with it, 1-1. Rounded toward short as Dribble Cabrera throws him out, 1 away. Let's have a look right now at our keys to the game. A trio of keys today. A win equals a sweep for Scott Kazmir, fastball command. And for the Indians, can they continue their clutch 2-out hitting? Jason Bay steps in 0 for 1 in the series. Bay played previously for Terry Francona in Boston. Bay earlier in his career with Pittsburgh was really a rising star. Went to Boston, had some good years, but then it just seemed like he just fell off the face of baseball.
Well, he did with injuries and things like that. He just never bounced back.
2 balls and a strike. Sort of a 5th outfielder right now for Seattle. The 2-1 pitch. Close, but did not get the call on the fastball inside. 3-1. Jan Gomes working behind the plate today. And that's up high for ball 4. 1-out walk will bring up Kyle Seager.
Scott Kazmir has made 2 starts here at Progressive Field, and he has won both of them. 2-0 and an ERA at 2.25. He beat Oakland. That finished off a 4-game sweep in his last start in this ballpark, and also beat Minnesota Twins here, the start before that.
Runner goes on first movement.
Oh, you can forget about it.
Gomes' throw off the mark, backed up nicely by Kipnis, but Bay has his first steal of the year.
Yeah, he had a tremendous jump. Went on first movement. Gomes with really no opportunity. Probably should have put it in his back pocket, but he goes ahead and tries to make the throw, backed up nicely by Kipnis. So Bay will get his first stolen base. And you can see Seattle early trying to get something and trying to play from in front in this series.
Indians have not trailed in their 4-game win streak. The 0-1 pitch, a little bit outside. Seager 2 for 11 in this series. Been one of the more consistent performers offensively for the Mariners. 12 doubles, 21 runs driven in. Waves at the off-speed pitch.
Let's take a look at it. It looked like the breaking ball on our Nissan pitch tracker. There it was. Slider out in front is Seager.
Now with a 1-2 count, Kazmir trying to go to work. Weakly tap towards short. Cabrera will take the sure out at first. And we've got 2 down as Bay moves to third.
Well, that's been Seattle's problem, Matt. Talked about all series is hitting with runners in scoring position. Now just 1 for 24 with runners in scoring position.
Well, Eric Wedge looking for somebody to come up with a clutch hit. And this is the guy that the Mariners were hoping would provide some of that much-needed run support and stability in the middle of their lineup, Kendry Morales. And he takes a little bit low for ball 1. For the year, Morales has done a nice job with runners in scoring position, hitting .353. But many of the times when the Mariners have had runners in scoring position, he hasn't been the guy coming to the plate, or if he has been, they've worked around him, which it might be the case here. Kazmir missing with the first 2. He got a base open. Morales tees off, drills it to deep left field, and he delivers again. 2-out RBI hit. He's going to try for 2, and the throw is very close play, closer than it should have been. Morales took a sweet old time, but he does get in there with a 2-out RBI double, and Seattle will play from in front today as they lead it 1-0.
Behind in the count, he went at him with a fastball. Morales makes him pay. His 10th double of the year goes off the wall, and Brantley gets it in. As Morales, he didn't slide. He just went in there figuring, I'm going to be able to go standing up. And I'll tell you, if it was a little closer to the bag, he would have been a dead duck.
Now Michael Morse. Hitless in the series, 0 for 7. Right back up the middle. And the 2-out hit's going to bring Morales around third. He'll be waved home, and he will score easily. And Seattle takes a 2-0 lead on back-to-back 2-out RBI hits. Well, the Indians, when playing at home this year, early on in the season when they were struggling, lost 6 of their first 8 home games. The pitching staff was allowing over 6 runs a game. In their last 14, in which they've won a dozen of those, that pitching staff has allowed less than 3 runs per contest.
Well, he's left his fastball up in the zone here in the first inning. And Morales and Morris have taken advantage of it.
Justin Smoak with 4 hits and 11 at-bats in the series. Takes a first pitch strike. He flinched, but he couldn't pull the trigger, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, Casper gave up 1 run in his last start in Philadelphia. It was a solo home run in the first inning. 2 tonight. Here comes a changeup upstairs. Gets the call.
Two-strike pitch. Struck
Yes,
him
he
out.
did.
So the inning is over, but the Mariners do some 2-out damage of their own, and they take a 2-0 lead. The Indians are coming to bat. Look at the Tribe starting 9, brought to you by Progressive. Proud to be to you. Here's Michael Bourne, Jason Kipnis, and Asdrubal Cabrera, followed by Nick Swisher, Carlos Santana, Mark Reynolds, Michael Brantley, Ryan Rayburn, and Jan Gomes. Lineup brought to you by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance.
Hisashi Iwakuma makes the start, his 10th this year. Off to a very good start at 5-1, an ERA of 1.84. He's given up only 38 hits in his 58 2/3 innings. He's got excellent control. He's walked 8. He's gone 5 starts this year where he has not walked a batter. So he doesn't give up any free base runners. It's rare when he does. So you're going to have to earn it against this guy. He will throw any pitch at any time, and he can command any pitch.
Michael Bourne has been a good table setter for the Indians in this series. He has gone 7 for 14. And he has scored 3 runs. Upstairs with it, 1-1 to count. Off-speed pitch down low, good eye by Bourne.
Bourne got the Indians started yesterday in the first inning with a hustling double off Felix Hernandez that really got him started right.
Chopped to first, and it's a foul ball. This was yesterday in the first inning off the bat of Michael Bourne.
Should have been a routine single, but with Morse coming in, he didn't realize that Bourne was just going to continue to go into second base and maybe caught him napping a little bit.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Another ground ball. Foul, first base side. Iwakuma signed by the Mariners last year out of Japan. Iwakuma pitched out of the bullpen, had a couple of saves, and pitched as a starter. I mentioned since they put him into the rotation last July, he's been outstanding.
Early July. You know what they did, Matt? They kept him in the bullpen for the first half and let him build up his arm strength. You know, so he wouldn't get torn down. And when they put him in the rotation, he's been outstanding ever since.
Slowly chopped to second base. And Dino throws out Bourne, 1 away.
Let's check that Mariners defense for you this afternoon. In the outfield, it's going to be Bay in left, Saunders in center, Morse is in right. Seager at third, Ryan at short, and Dino at second, with Smoak at first and Kelly Shopping getting the start behind the plate today.
Jason Kipnis has had a good series. He's gone 6 for 13 with a double and a home run. Of course, the homer was the game winner in the series opener. And that pitch looked high, but it's called a strike, 1-1.
Well, and Jason has had a terrific month of May. 20 ribbies, 6 home runs. Cabrera had a night last night, didn't he? 3 homers.
Sure did. And another borderline pitch that Kipnis doesn't like. He thought that was outside. And Laz Diaz looks like maybe he's going to give him a little extra on the outside part of the plate.
Well, if you give this guy that kind of pitch, he can stay there all day long.
Routine bouncer to second, and Dino throws him out, 2 down. Let's see what the Indians have in mind as far as the approach against Iwakuma today. Here's Katie with him.
Well, Matt, if it's low, let it go. If it's high, let it fly is the approach today against Iwakuma. He's got his toughest pitch is his splitter. He'll use it against lefties, and he'll use it when he's ahead in the count. It looks exactly like his fastball coming out of his hand, so it's really hard to lay off of. The key, force him up into the zone, because then it'll limit when he uses that splitter.
Usually that philosophy comes against knuckleballers, but I can understand when you have a good splitter, if it's down there, take it. Until you get to 2 strikes, then, not much you can do.
As Drupal Cabrera, 3 for 9 in the series with a double. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. Cabrera got the day off yesterday. A move that paid off for the Indians quite well. Michael Brantley was in that 3-hole yesterday. He had the RBI hit early, the 3-run homer in the second. Mike Aviles played it short. He had a good ball game. The 0-1. As Drupal was going to try to bunt his way aboard, and he fouls it off. Now the count 1-2. With 2 down in the first, and the Indians down early 2-0. Ran the fastball up by him, and the Indians go 1-2-3. 2-0 Seattle after 1. Ball is brought to you by McDonald's new Premium McWrap. Try one today. And by Kia. We go to the second inning with Seattle leading it 2-0. Bottom third of the Mariners order coming up here. Kelly Shopick, Robert Andino, and Brendan Ryan. Interesting in that the Mariners came up with some clutch hits in that first inning. The runners in scoring position has been an issue for them. You know, as a team, they came in hitting .239 overall, but .209 with runners in scoring position. Eric Wedge has always tried to explain that it's not easy to tell the average person why it's difficult to hit with runners in scoring position, why it's difficult to be a closer. And he doesn't agree with the people who subscribe to the theory that the ninth inning is no different than any other inning. And he said, if I have to explain that to you, then you don't understand and you're never going to understand. But he did shed some light on why it's a little bit tougher to hit with runners in scoring position. He said, as the pitch is down low, the best way to explain it, he said, it's no different than when you're doing regular human being things and your heartbeat speeds up a little bit from the things that you're doing in regular life. That's what happens with these guys when they're playing, and thousands of people are watching, 30,000 people in the stands. So it's a situation where it's just a little bit more important, and the outcome is going to be more important. So you feel that. It takes time to be a clutch hitter. It takes time, more time than not, to end up being a closer. That's what you love about the game as far as I'm concerned, the human element. It's more extreme than in other sports.
Well, you hear people say it speeds up on you a little bit, and when you're not swinging the bat well, people have a tendency to try too hard to do something. And when you do that in this game, more times than not, it seems like you don't succeed. Instead of just relaxing and being yourself and being patient.
I wonder, too, Rick, is that our own expectations of ourselves? You know, it's a clutch situation. I want to get a big hit, or I have to get it done. Or is it, I don't want to let my teammates down. I don't want to go in the dugout and feel like I'm the big failure.
You just said it the first time. I. It's not I. It's what can I do to make the team better.
Shopick, a swing and a miss, strikes out. One down here in the second. Here's our great clip of the game from yesterday. Justin Masterson, dynamite.
Do we have a couple hours to show it? He was great all day long.
Wipeout slider at times. The fastball was moving all over the place. I was told some Seattle hitters would go back to the dugout and tell Eric Wedge, I wanted to swing at it, but I just couldn't. That's how much movement, how nasty his pitches were yesterday.
As he said on the pregame show today, free and easy. You know, I want to keep my balance, stay behind the rubber, and just go free and easy. And his ball does that stuff. When you tense up, when you try and overthrow and do certain things like that, that's what happens. It straightens out.
Robert Andino, first action in the series. 0-2 count. Kazmir delivers, and it's fouled out of play. Right back up the middle. And Andino scorches a single to center field. Yesterday, as you said, Masterson was free and easy. He was able to throw the ball consistently well all day long. As you take another look at that ball right back.
Breaking ball.
Through the middle. Just past his glove. Almost snared it.
Just past his head, too.
On the other side, you had Felix Hernandez. A couple of defensive mistakes behind him, and maybe it got to him. Maybe he allowed that to just affect his concentration just enough to where the Indians just took advantage of him and hammered him.
Well, and also for him, it seemed like he was up in the zone a lot. Coming off a start. And this is a guy that has impeccable control and you know, he was on a great roll, but he did come out of his last start in New York with a play at first base. But he was up in the zone a little bit for him. We'll probably get an opportunity to see him again in Seattle after the All-Star break and look at him again. It's unfortunate you don't get to see these guys more than once because he is one of the best pitchers. But the Indians had a nice approach. They caught a little break. They made a few breaks for themselves. You're not going to see him give up 6 runs too often.
1 on, 1 out, Brendan Ryan. In the air, right field. Rayburn on the move. Runs it down on the over-the-shoulder catch. 2 away.
MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At bat delivers Indians baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Indians.com.
Michael Saunders grounded to short his first time up, and he takes a strike. Cuts and misses, 0-2 now.
Make a throw to first base here. 0-2, 2 outs. They may want to run on contact again, so just a courtesy throw. There it is. They have a lead. They're going to try and stay aggressive, so you just make sure you keep an eye on them. Bay did it in the first inning, took off on first movement, was successful.
Another toss over. Kazmir just holding the pose for a long time, and then Saunders a line drive caught by Kipnis. He climbs the ladder and takes a knock away from Michael Saunders, and the side is retired. Middle of the second, Seattle 2, Cleveland 0. It will be Nick Swisher, Carlos Santana, Mark Reynolds for the Tribe here in inning number 2.
A lot of kids here today and taking in afternoon baseball.
Iwakuma set the Tribe down 1-2-3 in the first. Chop foul. Nick Swisher has 2 hits in the series. Both of them have been doubles.
There's a good split right there. 85 miles per hour. You can see the bottom dropped out. Watch the movement. You can see the grip. That's why they say if it's low, let it go. Because it started at the knees, and by the time he swung at it, it was at his ankles. About the only thing he could do with that is hit it in the ground.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Isn't it amazing how many of the Japanese pitchers that we have seen over the years all seem to have that pause,
hesitation,
in the middle of their delivery?
You know, whether it's for balance or to keep them behind the rubber or something. But, yes, they have that little pause, gather, get themselves as they raise that one leg up. And, yeah, there's a little hesitation there, and they all do it.
Two ball, 2 strike count. And Swisher out looking. 1 down here in the second. Here's our stat of the game today, brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. Iwakuma now second in ERA, leads the league in walks and hits per innings pitched, and then you got the strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah, I mean, anything you look at, it's terrific with him. And the walk and hits per innings pitched, 20 less hits than innings pitched. He doesn't walk anybody, so rarely does he have base runners.
It's a good way to pitch.
That's a great way to pitch.
Carlos Santana struggling right now at the plate. Just 1 for 11 in the series. Takes it's down low, 2 balls, no strikes. See what Kelly Shopik wants to try here.
Let's go with a fastball in.
And Santana rips it fair. Down the right field line, into the corner it goes. Morse digs it out. But Santana digging for 2. He'll go in safely with a 1-out double. Both of his hits in the series have gone for doubles. Well, that's one way to work yourself out of a slump. You get yourself into a good count. You get a pitch to handle, and you put a good swing on it.
Well, it's a fastball in, and they know Santana can hit the fastball, but he got it in there, and Santana digs it out and keeps it fair. Just inside the line. That's double number 13 for Carlos. First hit for the Indians this afternoon.
Now Mark Reynolds coming up. Here's the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. Mark Reynolds, Robinson Cano, and Chris Davis, along with Edwin Encarnacion, all tied atop the leaderboard with a dozen. There's a high, towering pop to left field. Big back on the track. Makes the catch.
Just
2 down.
Under it. gets a slider, and that one didn't get away. Iwakuma gets away with one. Reynolds just got under it. You can see the head of Kelly Shopping looking up there at the saying, uh-oh.
Mark said recently, we got to do something about the wind here. It's always blowing in.
Well, for the most part, it has been recently.
Michael Brantley trying to come up with that big 2-out RBI hit now to get the Indians on the board. Takes low, ball 1. Michael 2 hits yesterday, driving in 4 runs, equaling his career best in RBIs in the ballgame. One-0 pitch, low. It's always nice to have a career day like that when you've got your dad in attendance. His father, Mickey, was here watching.
Well, that's good. That means whatever they talked about worked.
You know, Michael said afterwards, it was my way of telling him, you know, you did it right. You taught me the right way, and, hey, look, it's all paying off now.
Well, and Brantley's effort yesterday, they now have 8 individuals with 4 or more RBIs this season.
Now that gives, and it goes back to the team concept that you mentioned, you know, it's not I.
Right.
When you get everybody contributing like that, you don't feel like you've got to press and get it all done yourself.
Right. It is not about you. I mean, you want to help the cause, and the cause is to move the train along. And right now it looks like Iwakuma doesn't want to throw Brantley a whole lot to hit with Rayburn on deck. And Michael's patient enough to get the count in his favor and take the walk.
So 2 on with 2 out, and Ryan Rayburn will be coming up. Ryan Rayburn, first action in the series, trying to stop an 0 for 6, 1 for his last 14, covering 6 games. That on the heels of that incredible stretch he had where he was named American League Player of the Week. Remember that week, he went 13 for 22 with 4 homers and 9 runs batted in. 2 on, 2 out here in the second. Tribe down 2.
This is where Iwakuma gets tough, too, with runners in scoring position, just a 118 average on the year.
Well, so far, it wouldn't seem like he's had many of these situations.
Right. Well, you're right. 34 times. Comes right out of the chute, throws a slider and then a fastball, and he's down in the count 0-2.
th pitch of the game for Iwakuma coming up right here. Close.
Oh, he was walking off the mound, wasn't he?
He sure was. I think he thought he had it. It
sure
was very tantalizing. Rayburn laying off.
You know, normally he's not going to walk off the mound and do that. It's a little comeback fastball and must be called low, but it was a pretty good pitch. So consider yourself lucky if you're Ryan Rayburn. You may get another crack at it here.
And the 1-2 pitch. Grounded. Foul. Oh, that was so close. I thought initially, again, I'm not down the line, but I thought initially it looked like it went over the bag. But the third base umpire, Mark Wegner, immediately signaling foul.
Well, here's a good look at it. Boy, you want to talk about an inch?
Wow.
Or 2. Awfully close.
Boy, that looked like it went over the
See,
bag.
Rayburn thought it did as he was going. It looked at it from that angle. We showed you our angle. It was awfully close. Tough to tell. So now they both catch a break. Rayburn caught a break on that last pitch, and now they catch a break on the foul ball.
Iwakuma with a 1-2 pitch. Rayburn blast off. Deep left field. Bay says goodbye. Ryan Rayburn's 5th home run of the year. A 2-out, 3-run smash puts the Indians in front 3-2.
Well, how about that? Ryan Rayburn stops his streak. He hasn't played in the series. A 2-out, 3-run homer, his 5th. And it looked like he hit a hanging split. He left this one up. That wasn't too bad, but Rayburn put a nice swing on it. It was the splitter. Rayburn hits it. The Indians back in front, 3-2.
A big blast from Ryan Rayburn puts the Indians in front. Now Jan Gomes steps in. Not surprising, it's that big 2-out clutch hit for the Indians.
No kidding. I mean, they have done that.
That's their 10th home run of the year with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs.
They have been consistently getting key base hits like that, and it seems like somebody different every day.
He's got 3 of the 10, by the way. Jan Gomes fouls it off of his foot. And a count 0-2. Jason Giambi talking to Rayburn about that swing. Almost looks like Rick, he's talking about, I was looking for that splitter maybe.
Well, that was an at-bat where Iwakuma was walking off the mound, if you remember, on that 0-2
Now
pitch.
Gomes sends one deep left field. That baby is going to the porch. Back-to-back home runs here in the 2nd inning. And the Indians are now in front 4-2. Jan Gomes' 3rd home run of the season.
He wants to become part of it. I tell you, Gomes has done a beautiful job with this club. This is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. A ball that comes back on the inner part of the plate. And he tries to shoot the ball the other way, but he just sped his bat up right there to get it onto the home run porch. That is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. Back-to-back home runs again for the Indians.
Now, a new rule this year in Major League Baseball, the Mariners with Iwakuma on the mound, a Japanese pitcher. So Carl Willis allowed to bring an interpreter to the mound with him. Laz Diaz at first thought the trainer was coming out, and then he realized that's the interpreter. It's just something new this season. But the Indians teeing off here in inning number 2. The 3-run smash by Rayburn, the solo homer by Gomes. And the Indians continue their 2-out magic. 5th time this year. They've gone back-to-back in an inning. And the 11th time they've hit 2 or more home runs in an inning. Bourne with a pretty good bunt. Iwakuma, bare hand grab and thrown. Ball goes wild. Down the line, Bourne turns, and he'll just stay right there at first base.
He was lucky to get back.
The Indians keep the pressure on Iwakuma. Beautiful bunt by Bourne. He had to hurry the throw, and it was not a good throw.
And most times when a pitcher gives up back-to-back homers, you're thinking the next guy wants to hit. Well, Bourne comes back up and lays down a bunt with 2 outs. Iwakuma, he's got to bring him off the mound. The throw is offline. He thought about going to second, and then you see Andino backing it up. Thought he would have had him at second base, but he made the wise decision to go back to first. Stick with another infield single.
Oh, he gives an error there to Iwakuma.
Well,
that's a tough play.
No, that's. I mean, he's got to make a perfect throw. I consider that a base hit. Come on,
well,
that's not ordinary effort, man.
Here's Jason Kipnis, the 8th man to bat in the inning, and he was going for the downs. Swings and misses. Jason, a bouncer to second base, his first time up. After Iwakuma retired the first 4 to start the game, the Indians have been all over him since. Back up the middle, that's through a base hit. Bourne is on his way to third, and he'll go in there easily. And so the Tribe has runners at first and third with 2 down, and now Asdrubal Cabrera will be the 9th man to bat here in the inning.
Well, you see, they sense it. You know, they get that one key hit, Matt, and like they have so often this year, they just continue to roll. And they have a big number on the scoreboard here in the second inning, a 4 spot with a chance to add on.
Now is Asdrubal Cabrera. Struck out his first time up. And a big swing and a miss. Fouled just past the Seattle dugout. Iwakuma rocked here in inning number 2. He's now made 40 pitches in the ball game. Even the last out of this inning was loud off the bat of Mark Reynolds as it carried to the warning track in deep left field. Kipnis takes off, and it's fouled back by Cabrera. So yesterday the Indians scored more runs than anybody else has scored off Felix Hernandez. Today they've already scored more runs off Iwakuma than anybody else has this year.
Boy, and they've made the Seattle starters work early in the game. I mean, when you look at it, the first 3 innings so far, we just showed you the pitch count for Iwakuma. It was 65 after 3 for Hernandez. Saunders had 66. Maurer was the best in game 1 at 47.
Kipnis takes off again, but Cabrera this time strikes out, and the inning is over. But the Indians roar back. They send 9 to the plate. They score 4 on back-to-back homers. For Seattle as we go now to the third inning. Jason Bay, Kyle Seager, and Kendry Morales due up for the Mariners on a gorgeous afternoon here at the ballpark. What weather we've had. 81 degrees today here at game time. Yesterday felt like summertime.
Yeah, this is definitely a summer day.
Jason Bay takes a strike. Bay walked, stole a base, scored in the first. Out of play to the right. Down in the dirt. Now the 2-2 to Bay. Lined in the left field, a base hit. So he's aboard for the second time today. And that starts the third inning for Seattle. First time they get their leadoff man aboard. Here is today's trivia question brought to you by AT&T. 3 players in Mariners history have had 2 or more seasons of 20-plus homers, 20-plus steals.
20.
3 players in Mariners history have had 2 or more seasons of being a 20-20 man. Kyle Seager grounded to short his first time up. Casimir trying to pay close attention to Bay, not let him take off like he did first time. That's called a ball, and it's 2-0. Bay held by Swisher at first. In the air to center field. Bourne racing back. Dead sprint over his head. It's over the wall on a hop for a ground rule double. So Casimir has already given up 5 hits to this Mariners lineup.
Well, let's look at the location. Seager gets a pitch that is right down Broadway. I mean, mid-thigh, and he drives it to straightaway center field over the head of Bourne. Bourne had a beat on it, but it's going to hit the track and go over. They may have caught a break there where you're able to keep Bay at third base. So it's second and third now with nobody out.
Well, and here comes Kendry Morales. He was up with runners in scoring position his first time and drove in that runner, Jason Bay, and now he's got another chance. He's been the one Mariner who's done it well this year for Seattle. And there's a smash to center. That's going to get home Bay. Seager stops at third. 1-run game to close play at third. Nice cut and throw by Swisher, but Bay able to get back. Seager able to get back just in time.
You know, and Morales jumps on the first pitch. The 2 doubles they hit today came off 2-0 counts off Scott Casimir, and they've been pretty good pitches. But You can see the location of today's pitches by Scott are not where you want to put him. He takes advantage of a pitch up the middle, hit so hard that they have to keep Seager at third base. So they get their third run in. It's 3 consecutive hits here to start off the third. And they're trying to come right back.
Michael Morse, an RBI single right back up the middle, his first time up. That fastball missing for ball one. Breaking ball in for a strike to even the count. "30 out of the 47 pitches by Kazmir have been strikes, but as Rick has pointed out, too many of them have been in the heart of the plate."
Yeah, too much. The location has been off. Seattle has done a good job this year against left-handed starters, 8-5. They have fared better.
Well, you hear that saying, wild in the strike zone. And that's been the case so far for Scott today, the left-hander. You know, pitchers always tell you want to work the edges, not the heart of the plate.
Hitters let you know when you get too much of the plate, and they're letting Kazmir know you better. And, you know, when he's falling behind, he had to go in there with a strike, and that's when the doubles have come. So these guys, they realize, man, they got to score if they're going to beat the Tribe, so they're up swinging. They're trying to salvage this last game of a series.
Well, after going just 1 for their first 20 with a runner in scoring position, Seattle 3 for 4 today. '50th pitch of the day for Kazmir. Double play ball to second. Kipnis to Cabrera, back to Swisher. That erases the base runners, but the Mariners tie the game. 4-4 our score now here in the third with 2 down and the bases empty.
Well, they'll certainly trade that. You trade the 2 outs, you give up the run. They get back to even, so they respawn. They come right back after the Indians put a 4 spot on.
Might be one of those games. Could be a wild last man standing sort of affair. The way the ball seems to be jumping and carrying. 1-0 pitch. Jam job to short. Cabrera near the bag, throws over, inning over. Seattle comes right back with a pair to tie the game middle of the third. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. 4-4 our score, bottom of the third. Nick Swisher will lead off for the second inning in a row as the Tribe sent 9 to the plate in inning number 2. Hisashi Iwakuma, the starter for Seattle today. I mentioned that the Mariners signed him out of Japan in 2012. What's interesting about that is 2 years prior to that, it was the Oakland A's who had won the bidding rights to Iwakuma. They outbid rivals Texas and Seattle with a bid of $19 million. But then they had 30 days to get a contract done, and they couldn't come to an agreement. Reportedly, as Swisher lines one to the left center field gap, that'll go to the wall. And how about Nick Swisher? 3 hits in the series. All 3 of them have been doubles. And the Tribe gets the go-ahead run into scoring position to start the home half of the third.
Pretty good approach right there, and a nice swing by Swisher. He's got that ball up mid-thigh. He left it up, and Swisher took advantage of it. Didn't try and pull it. Stayed on it nicely. Hits it into left center field. Will get his 12th double of the year. So the Indians now with 4 extra base hits out of their 5. Couple of double out of their 6. No, I'm sorry, that's an error on Bourne. I had it still marked as a hit.
Well, I know the official score was going to go back and take another look at it. He hasn't changed it to this point, so maybe he still feels like it was an error. Carlos Santana, he started it in the second inning. He got a 2-0 count, got a fastball, and ripped a double over the first base bag into the corner. And the Indians took off. Takes a strike here. Back to the story about Iwakuma, though. So the A's win the bid. They got 30 days to get a deal done. They offered him a contract that was going to average $15 million over 4 years. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. Iwakuma and his agent were looking for $12 million over 3 years. The Oakland A's said, take it or leave it, $15 million a year for 4. He said no thanks and went back to Japan. He ends up signing with Seattle on a 1-year deal for $1.5 million last year in base, 3.4 in incentives.
What are you doing?
So not very good on the agent's part there.
Well, maybe he's independently wealthy. I don't know.
I don't really need the money. I'm just doing this for the fun of it.
I don't want to play in Oakland. I'd rather play somewhere else. I don't know. The guy's a pretty good pitcher.
He has a different agent, by the way, since then.
I would hope so.
He's now represented by Arn Tellem.
Okay.
Back then it was not Arn Tellem. So, right now Carlos Santana down on the count 1-2. Iwakuma delivers. And Santana smashes one to center field. Saunders over into the gap. He'll make the catch. Swisher will tag. He's headed to third. Here's the throw. Head first dive, and he is safe. Good hustle by Swisher as Santana can feel good about himself going back to the dugout because he gets to third base with 1 out.
Right. He hit the ball deep enough to right center field, allowed Swisher to tag and move over into scoring position or third base in less than 2 outs. Saunders with a good throw. Stayed behind the ball. In comes the throw. In comes Swisher, and he beats it. So now the Mariners will bring the infield in, looking for a ground ball. Mark Reynolds looking for something elevated in the zone. He can hit in the air like he did in his first at-bat.
Reynolds just missed, hitting one out of here his first time up to deep left field. Takes outside for ball 1.
It's where he's really going to want to keep that ball down and look for a ground ball or a swing and a miss. Yes, he did.
No, he did not.
Okay.
2-0. Mark is currently third in the American League in runs batted in with 37. He's 10 behind the league leader, Miguel Cabrera, who had quite a night last night, homering 3 times, and yet the Tigers still lost to Texas. The 2-0 pitch. Low again. 3 balls, no strikes. Michael Brantley waiting on deck.
Well, and he will have the green light here if he chooses to find something to his liking. Make him elevate the ball. If he gets a pitch that he likes, get after it. See, that's the swing at 3-0. You're caught in between, so why swing? I mean, a pitch, he has the green light. You don't have to swing just because you get it. You got to really keyhole that pitch you're looking for. He wasn't looking for the fastball. He was looking for something else, but he still swung. So right there's a little indecision, in that 3-0 count. You either have to get after it and let it fly or just take it, because it comes back. If it's a strike, it's still 3-1 anyway.
He went away. That time he went upstairs in a full count. Might have chased ball 4 there.
He certainly did. He wants to get that run in so badly that he can taste it. And he helped him out. That was neck high.
Now, we have seen Reynolds get on top of some high pitches, but that one was virtually impossible to get to. Now, a full count with the infield in, 1 down, and the go-ahead run at third. Downstairs, ball 4.
Split.
So Reynolds able to lay off the low ones. First and third, 1 out. Mariners will go back to double play depth now, I would assume. Here's our injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk Serious Lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Well, Gerard Dyson going on the DL for Kansas City with a right ankle sprain. The Royals began the day in third place in the Central Division. They have lost 3 in a row. In fact, every team in the division is on some type of losing skid except for the Indians, who have won 4 straight. Detroit has lost 2 in a row. Kansas City's lost 3 straight. The White Sox have lost 2 in a row, and Minnesota has now fumbled away 5 in a row. Well, here's Michael Brantley, who walked his first time up. He went after that first pitch. Got his fastball.
Too. He had a good swing on it.
Iwakuma really never gave him anything close to hittable in that first at bat.
Right. That's right. He walked Brantley the first time with first base open, but Brantley was ready. He had a good swing at a fastball, just fouled it off. And after that Brantley walk is when the eruption came for the Indians offense. A Rayburn 3-run homer, and then Gomes followed that one with a homer.
2 on, 1 out. Outside with it. 1 ball, 1 strike. And here again, these Indians hitters have done a terrific job working pitchers in the count. 56 pitches for Iwakuma so far. We're in the third.
He's going through his whole arsenal, man. Went fastball away, no. Split, no. Fastball in, no. Slider, no. Maybe he's undecided. He doesn't want to throw it. Coming back to the split. And now Shopik wants to talk to him. Don't know what he wants because he pretty much offered him everything he's got. And the universal language now is, what do you want to throw? Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
go get him.
Fastball, split. You know,
Yeah.
that stuff they can translate easily. But when Carl Willis has to go out to the mound and maybe talk about stride or opening up, he needs the translator to cut through that. Mariners still had the infield in, though the middle infielders a little bit deeper trying to turn 2 on a ball hit at him. One. Close, but a little bit high and wide. 2 balls and a strike. Iwakuma looked a little frustrated on that last one. Thought maybe he had a strike, but didn't get the call. And it tips the count in Michael's favor here at 2-1. Swisher's at third, Reynolds at first, 2-1 offering. Brantley lifts it, foul out of play. One other day game, I believe, going on right now is up in Toronto. Tampa Bay and the Blue Jays are scoreless in the first. We're in the third, tied at 4. A lot of action already today. Seattle with 2 in the first. The Indians came right back in the second with a 4 spot. They sent 9 men to the plate. Seattle responding with 2 in the top half of this inning to tie it up. Brantley again fouling it back. Michael already with 4 runs batted in yesterday's game, looking to add to his little tear here. With a runner third and 1 out on a 2-2 pitch line into right field, he will indeed. His 5th run batted in the last 2 games gives the Indians a 5-4 lead here in the third.
Good at bat by Michael. He waited till he got something up in the zone, and these hitters are making him bring it up. So their game plan is working right now against this guy. Look at that. You see it high, let it fly. He did. He got after it, man, and they've been able to take the ball that has been down in the zone, so they've had a very good approach here to Iwakuma this afternoon. They already have 6 hits, and they retake the lead 5-4. Brantley gets his 20th RBI.
Now Ryan Rayburn, who launched a 3-run homer to the bleachers in left field, his first time up.
You know the amazing thing, too, Matt.
Chopped to third. Seager goes to second for 1. And the return throw is in time for a double play. Want to finish that thought later?
Yeah, later, okay. Much later.
Indians regain the lead on Brantley's RBI single, 5-4 after 3. As we roll to the 4th inning. We'll see if Scott Kazmir can right the ship. He's given up 6 hits already today. But he's out in front by a run, 5-4. He's got the bottom third of the Seattle order due up. He handled this part of the lineup back in the second inning, allowing just one hit through that frame. And Smoak looks at a first pitch strike. A little bit low with it, 1 ball, 1 strike. Kazmir got the double play ball and then a ground out to get out of the third after 3 straight hits open the inning for Seattle. Yeah, I tell you what, both pitchers already here in the first 3 innings have been questioning some of the calls that Laz Diaz is making. They feel like, I think both pitchers feel like the strike zone is either small or it's moving. A moving target. That's low. 3-1.
He's looking in there. He can't figure it out. They're hearing something from the dugout now. Yeah, a lot of times you can tell by the body of that guy out there on the mound when he doesn't get a pitch. You know, those shoulders slump a little bit. But he thinks he makes a good one, and he walks the leadoff man.
Well, I think what happens, too, that frustration, if it starts to creep in, you start to, try to make that perfect pitch, and mechanics get a little funky. We're going to get activity in the Indians' bullpen. Looks like Matt Albers is going to begin to loosen up. Jason Kipnis trying to give Kazmir a minute to catch his breath, refocus. Robert Andino coming up. He singled right back up the middle his first time up. Now Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach, is going to go out.
I figured it'd be a good time for him to just let him regroup a little bit. Even though he felt that they were good pitches, he didn't get them, just to slow him down. That'll give me time to remind you the next Sugardale Dollar Dog Night will be Friday, May 31st. The Tampa Bay Rays will be in town. You can load up on hot dogs all night long for only $1. Get your tickets at Indians.com. We'll go out on the road, and we've got a 4-game series in Boston. And then we'll get back into interleague play, 2 in Cincinnati. And then we come right back here for 2 more against Cincinnati. And then the Rays are in town.
Looks like Laz Diaz is telling Scott Kazmir, and it looked like a pretty nice conversation. And it looked like he's probably telling them they're close, but they're not quite strikes.
There's nothing wrong. They want to get their point across.
It didn't look agitated like somebody was about to get the heave-ho.
Well, you don't start yelling and screaming. There's a way to go about doing it and tell them you think it's a strike, and you find that out. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
As Buddy Belly would say, it's bedside manner. Some people have it, some people don't. Robert Andino takes.
And guess what? Gets a call right there. How about that bedside manner? That's funny because that looked borderline from where I'm sitting. I didn't look at it on the monitor. I was just looking straight out, and that looked like a ball more than the other ones did, but he gets the call. I bet he said thank you.
That's out the way. 1-1 to count. Please and thank you. Take you a long way in this world. Just ask Lucille.
Yeah.
60th pitch of the day for Kazmir coming up right here. Andino on a play with it. 1-2. A little bit outside, 2-2. Full count. You really have to wonder, Rick, with Albers up in the bullpen here in this fourth inning with nobody out, how long Terry Francona is committed to staying with Kazmir now.
Well, they've been able to give him the lead twice. The first time he couldn't hold it, and he walked the leadoff man. He's out to a full count now. So we'll see. I don't know.
Andino rips one down the right field line. That's into the corner. Digging it out is Rayburn. Into third is Shopik. He'll be held there. And right back comes Seattle. Second and third. Nobody out.
Well, I would think that leash is getting shorter and shorter now with every hitter. Andino on the full count goes down and away. This ball leaks over the middle and drilled it down the right field line, and that leash has already been pulled. So Francona going to take the walk out, and Kazmir's day will be over.
He just doesn't have it today. Seattle has taken aim, and they have touched him for 7 hits already in the ballgame. Indians lead at 5-4. Matt Albers is coming on as Terry Francona makes today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. And the Indians go to the bullpen early today. Matt Albers, for the 13th time this year, will be coming on to face Brendan Ryan with Mariners at second and third and nobody out.
Well, you haven't had to say this too often. You get spoiled by good starting pitching, don't you? You go out there, you're used to seeing those starters go, and they get into the 6th inning, 7th inning. This has been a short one today, so Albers going to try and pick it up and pick Scott Kazmir up.
Shortest start by an Indian since April 16th.
Yeah.
And that's April 6th.
I know
it's over a month now.
It's been few and far between, man. It's been a long time.
Brendan Ryan takes, and it's in there for a strike. Ryan flied to right his first time up. Infield back. They'll concede the tying run here. They want an out. Albers delivers, and a ground ball hit to Cabrera at short. He'll throw him out. Ryan gets the run home. We're tied at 5. Ryan's 8th RBI on the year.
Well, he also got the runner from second to third. So for Ryan, a good job. And, you know, Scott Kazmir walked 2 guys. They both scored today.
Top of the order, Michael Saunders 0 for 2 in the ballgame. That kind of play. Again, the infield back, so Saunders with the ground ball or fly ball to the outfield could get the go-ahead run home now for the Mariners. Almost took off Gomes with a good job to go up there and grab it. Saunders has done a good job getting him home from third. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Now Albers a chance to go for the strikeout here. That would be big. Yan Gomes initially wanted the fastball upstairs, but Albers wants to try something different. And it's ripped. Oh, Swisher with a great stop at first, throw home. Gomes applies the tag, and he is out.
What a beautiful play.
Wow, that ball was scorched to first base.
I'll tell you what, Swisher, intentionally, he wasn't thinking about it, but the ball was hit so hard. Once he made the catch, he says, I'm going to go home. And he made a beautiful catch and a beautiful throw to nail him at home plate. You figure he hit it right on the nose. There's the one hopper down. He gets up. He wasn't thinking nothing but home plate. And Andino slides right into Gomes, into the out, so they get the second out at the plate. Well, that's a big play right there.
Jan getting out in front of the dish to apply the tag. Holds on to the ball. 2 down, and Saunders at first now. Jason Bay walked and scored in the first, singled and scored in the third.
Saunders over at first. He has stolen 6 this year. He has not been caught. And he's over there looking like he's thinking about it and he wants to.
Looks like he'd take about 3 steps and he could be at second base.
There he goes.
Gomes with a good throw, and they got him.
And there he goes.
What a tag by Kipnis. He slapped it on him hard. Gomes a perfect strike, and the inning is over. Mariners come back to tie it 5-5, middle of the fourth. Progressive Field. Hey, right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, the Tribe's success is starting to get noticed nationwide now. Why winning the NBA draft may not be a good thing. And Get instant stats and updates on Game Connect. Get complete coverage of all today's action involving Ohio sports on foxsportsohio.com. Good crowd on this Monday noon start here at Progressive Field, and they are warm today.
Yeah, fanning themselves.
81 degrees, a lot of humidity in the air. I know it's mid-May, late May now, but it feels like July. Jan Gomes will lead off for the Tribe, then Michael Bourne and Jason Kipnis. Toronto leading Tampa 2-0. They're in the second up at the Rogers Center. Blue Jays have dropped 2 in a row. They are 17-26, last place in the AL East. Gomes ropes it into left field. Another base hit. He homered in the first inning, or in his first at bat. And now a solid strike here. That gives him 3 hits in the series in 2 games that he's played.
Well, here we go in that second inning where Bourne, after the back-to-back home runs, it's that bunt base hit that brings Iwakuma off the mound. He has to barehand it. He has to turn and make a good throw. Throws off line, and they give him an error.
No, that's not a routine play.
No, it is not a routine play. And he's got time, but that should have been given a hit. It wasn't. But Gomes comes back, gets a first pitch hit. And I was going to say the last time both he and Rayburn on the home runs were both down 0-2 in the count to this guy.
Well, and you're talking about a guy who, now mind you folks, this isn't a couple of games into the season. This is 9 starts into the season. This guy, the second best ERA in the league, and it was under 2.
Right.
Well, that's pretty legit.
Yeah, not giving up many hits or walks. He's already walked 2. He's given up 2 home runs.
The Indians have gotten after him here today, and now Bourne scorches one on a short hop to second.
That's too bad.
And they'll turn a double play here.
Boy, he hit that on the nose. And that was a short hop.
And that's what happened to Gomes. He thought maybe he was going to catch it on the line drive.
Right.
Wouldn't have mattered anyway.
No, nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. You see, they're playing shallow, and Bourne, with all the infield hits, there's one that comes back to bite you. After he's rolled over to a couple, he gets a hit. Now he hits one on the nose, and Ryan, who's an excellent fielding shortstop, picks it, and it's an easy double play for the speedster. He's going to flip it up, and they turn 2.
Now Jason Kipnis, 1 for 2 with a single. Activity in the Mariners bullpen. 65th pitch of the day for Iwakuma. Kipnis taking a strike. Danny Farquhar is getting loose for Seattle. Off-speed pitch. In there for a strike. 0-2 the count. Change up in the dirt, 2-2. I beg your pardon, 1-2 for Kipnis. Jason, 7 hits in the series. Both he and Bourne have tallied 7 knocks. He gets the count back to even now at 2-2. Outside a full count.
Worked him back into the count. Very good. Not biting on any of those pitches off the plate.
Jason sends one high and foul, out of play. Jason Kipnis trying to extend the inning here in the fourth with 2 down. Three-two is ball 4.
Well, get your tickets early, you can say, for Friday night fireworks. It'll be May 31st. The Tampa Bay Rays in town. That'll be presented by Wayside Furniture. Post-game show will be set to the, to the rise of FM radio. So log on to Indians.com, get your tickets.
Now, as Dribble Cabrera's had a rough day to this point, he has struck out in both of his at-bats. He'll hit with Jason Kipnis at first and 2 down here in the fourth. Tie ball game. And he fouls the first pitch back. The Indians have done a terrific job of just kind of, as Eric Wedge used to say, staying in the moment during the stretch of baseball. You win 17 out of 21. There's a chance that even the old pros, you start maybe get a little big head. You start feeling like you've got it down pat. But Mark Reynolds said, we're not looking in the past. We're not looking in the future. We're only worrying about today. This game, the one we're playing, trying to take care of business.
That's all you can
on
do.
That day.
All you can do. It's a humbling game. The minute you start thinking something else, you're in trouble.
And Terry Francona's done a good job of managing those expectations of, hey, guys, today's the only game that matters.
Well, everybody has been a part of it from day one. Everybody's getting playing time, and everybody feels like they're part of this ball club. No one's left out.
In the dirt, and a good block by Shopik. Nothing wrong with that play. 1-1 the count. Iwakuma, who has pitched this year, managing a blister problem on the middle finger of his throwing hand. Eric Wedge said he's still dealing with the effects of it. On some days he'll throw more sinkers or splitters, and that will have an effect on that blister, or what remains of it. You have a blister, it pops, it goes away, but it's still probably a little tender.
Well, every 5 days you're throwing on the seams of the baseball, and you can see how it can irritate it.
Kipnis takes off, pitches down low, Shop a good throw, and Kipnis beats the tag. Jason with his 9th steal of the year. Good throw by Shopik. It was a close play, but Kipnis just simply beat the swipe tag of Ryan to the bag.
It really was a good throw. It was just on the shortstop side. It was down. He had enough on it. Kipnis speed. You see where he had the backhand, and it wasn't much. And, from a catcher, that's a good throw. He just reaches. He's in front of the bag to get it, and that's close. Can't get much closer than that. Kipnis with another stolen base.
Now Cabrera has a runner in scoring position and a 2-1 count. That's the go-ahead run. Right back into the glove of Iwakuma, and the inning is over. Boy, he smoked it too, right on the barrel. But Iwakuma grabs it, and we've played 4, tied at 5. the wireless receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Rethink possible. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Panini's with 18 locations in Northeast Ohio. 5-5 is our score. Top of the 5th inning. Jason Bay will lead it off for the Mariners. And Matt Albers, who came on in relief of Kazmir in the 4th, a first pitch strike. On the ground to short. And Cabrera throws him out. Sports Time Ohio and the Indians are providing a great way to get your group to Progressive Field this summer. The Indians Fan Express. For more information on how you can get aboard, call 216-420-HITS or log on to Indians.com. Bunted foul by Kyle Seager, who doubled to straightaway center his last time up and came around to score. Albers steps off the rubber. Albers taking a long look in. Now ready, the 0-1 pitch. Called a strike on the outside corner. Nothing into the count. John Stearns coaching third base for the Seattle Mariners right now, taking over for Jeff Datz. All of us here with the Indians and all of us in the media miss Datsy. He's want to send him our best wishes. He's dealing with cancer right now, and he's going to be going through all the therapies, and we know he's going to battle his tail off. And he sent me a text and said, "Hey, I'm going to get through this. We're going to do all the things we're supposed to do." But John Stearns in a tough spot. He's coming up. He's going to do the best job he can, but he knows how much Datsy means to that ball club and means to all of us in baseball. Swing and a miss as Seager is out number 2. Now, you've been around Datsy a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
I've known him forever.
18, 19 years here in this organization. I think he starts radiation this week, but they seem to have it isolated, and they say he should be fine, and let's hope he is.
Yes.
Thoughts and prayers are with you, Big Daddy.
Good man. Good man. Kenry Morales, a couple of hits already today and 2 runs batted in. He doubled in a run in the first, singled home a run in the third. This is the kind of situation you want to face him in with nobody on base. I was thinking back to Eric's comments about hitting with runners in scoring position and about heartbeat. Some people, you put a little too much pressure on, your heartbeat races up. You escape from Cuba, hitting with runners in scoring position is probably no big deal.
Yeah, it's a breeze.
Especially after, at one point, he was put in jail because they were afraid he was going to leave the country. So for Kenry Morales,
that's a little, yeah.
This is a walk in the park.
Just playing a game is something you should be smiling about.
The 1-1 down on the dirt. We're in the 5th, tied at 5. Oh, good pitch really pulled the string. You could see Morales off balance out in front.
Yeah, cheating on that ball. Thinking he's going to get a fastball. It's a slider and a good one. Has him out front. Must not have picked up the spin on that pitch right there, but either that or he was guessing heater.
And the 2-2 is hit a long way, deep right field. Rayburn will watch it hit in front of the fence. Long throw towards second base. Morales slides in safely with a 2-out double. So he is 3 for 3 here this afternoon. And 2 of his 3 hits for extra bases.
Yeah, Seattle now with 4 doubles. Guess what? He didn't have to guess there. That was a heater, and he didn't miss it. He was guessing it before. This one leaks out over the plate with a little comeback to it, and he was ready for it. Out in front of the slider, so you knew he was sitting heater. He hits it. So he is 3 for 3. That is hit number 8 for Seattle. So a 2-out double will give them a chance to take the lead.
Michael Morse, an RBI single with 2 outs in the first inning. Banged into a double play his last time up. And the pitch is outside for ball 1. Ball was in the dirt. Blocked by Gomes. And Moore's taking a called strike 2-2. Out to the mound goes Yan Gomes, a 2-2 count for Morse with a go-ahead run at second base. And this about to be the 80th pitch of the game for Iwakuma, or for Matt Albers, who came on in the third inning. This will be his 20th pitch of the game. Iwakuma has made 80 pitches on the other side. Swing and a miss. Chased the ball in the dirt. Gomes will throw to first, and the inning is over. So we'll go to the bottom of the 5th, all tied at 5. Nick Swisher, Carlos Santana, Mark Reynolds coming up. Nick Swisher doubled and scored in the third. And a breaking ball called a strike, though Swisher thought that was definitely low. Now 1-1 to count.
Trying to throw him inside. You remember the last time up, he doubled the left center field. Hitting a very good pitch, staying on it. So he's trying to make an adjustment. They feel he's looking away. Let's try and start him off inside.
Down low with it. And foul back. 2-2. The Indians with 4 runs in the second inning, 1 more in the third for their 5 tallies today. Swisher strikes out. 1 gone here in the 5th. Let's take a look at that in-game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Ryan Rayburn with a 2-out, 3-run homer in the second inning, put the Indians in front 3-2. The next man up homered for the Indians, that was Jan Gomes to make it 4-2, but the Seattle Mariners came back. But then the Tribe would return the favor. Michael Brantley with an RBI single to put him ahead 5-4. However, Seattle came right back and tied it. 5-5 is where we stand.
Seattle hasn't let them get away because every time the Indians scored, they came right back in the next inning and scored to take that momentum away from them.
Carlos Santana looks at a strike. Doubled and scored in the second, fly to deep center. His last time up in the third. Santana with a foul back. 1-2 the count. Looks like we'll get Brian Shaw coming into the game next for the Tribe, working in the bullpen now. Iwakuma with a 1-2. .54 out of 84 pitches for Iwakuma today have been strikes. His ERA when the day began, second best in the league at 1.84. It has climbed to 2.43. With the Indians touching him for 5 spots so far.
It's the 3rd time this year he has walked 3 guys in a start. But other than that, he has been great.
Upstairs with it, 2-2.
He's pitched 5 games this year where he hasn't walked a batter.
There is Shaw getting loose. 3 on the right side of the infield for the Mariners. 2-2 to Santana. Strikes him out. That's 5 Ks now for Iwakuma. He gets the first 2 here in the 5th.
Well, you can come out to the ballpark and get a 1920s Road Logo T-shirt giveaway. That'll take place a week from Wednesday. The Cincinnati Reds are going to come into town, and the first 10,000 fans on next Wednesday, which will be May 29th, receive one.
Got a collar on it.
Sure, with the big C. There you go. Lapels.
I've never had a collared T-shirt. I'm coming to get one of those.
You'll get one.
Outside with the pitch.
Go good with the tie you got on.
Now that would be a sight. We'll wear the Indians jersey with a tie. 1-0 pitch. Reynolds sends a high, towering drive to deep center. Back goes Saunders. And he'll make the catch. The Indians go 1, 2, 3, 5 complete. We're tied at 5.
Cleveland Clinic called to the bullpen. Brian Shaw coming out of the bullpen for the second reliever for Terry Francona. Shaw's done a nice job this year, appearing for the 17th time. 19 in the third innings, walked 7, struck out 20. Elvers did a nice job in his 2 innings, giving up a hit, a couple of strikeouts. So this looks like it may be a bullpen game, this final.
Yeah.
Although Iwakuma is still in there. I don't know for how much longer, but he had a nice 1-2-3 inning in the 5th.
Justin Smoak, Kelly Shoppick, Robert Andino for the Mariners here in the 6th. Tribe welcoming the Detroit Tigers tomorrow and Wednesday here at Progressive Field, and that wraps up the homestand.
You know, we've had 4-game series. That one will be a 2-gamer. But the next 2 times Detroit come to Cleveland, they'll be both 4-game series. It's one thing to have them with a team that you rarely see, but when you're in a division and you have a 4-game series, it can be a lot of heat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of animosity.
Yeah, could be.
I have to say, there's a rhythm to the baseball schedule. I mean, it's just perfectly set up for 3-game series. The 4-gamers...
Too long.
Too long. The 2-gamers, not enough.
Well, yeah. I don't know if your system, or you get accustomed to it, because you do, because that's what you usually do. 3-game series, and you're in, and you're used to spending a certain amount of time in a town, whether it's home, whether it's road, and you move on. The bags are ready. They're packed. They're ready to go. They try and mess with you with a day early on a 2-game series, and they really mess with you when it's a day late. And we had one this year in Kansas City where it was a wraparound. We had a day off before. We spent 5 nights in Kansas City. I think I bought a home there, and it's up for sale already.
Not to mention we had one of the games that was rained out early.
Right.
So it was
That was
a
long stay.
Weird deal. Well, it's going to be also really interesting because the first time I ever remember, with Cincinnati, we'll play 2 there and then 2 here. So it'll be 4 straight games, but in
during
2
the week.
Different locations.
And during the week,
strange.
never a weekend. Always used to be weekends with Cincinnati.
That's hit pretty well. Deep left center field. Back goes Brantley and Bourne converging. Brantley says, I'll take it. He does. 1 away. Katie's got more, I understand, on the 3 straight day games.
Yeah, Matt, I spoke with some of the guys in the clubhouse today, and they said, day game after night game is the worst, but they're actually liking this 3 day games in a row. They're finally in that routine. They're waking up early. They even said it kind of feels like spring training right now because you're in that routine, and it's nice to have the night off when you're here at home because they've been able to spend it with their family and kind of act like normal people. They said the only bad thing is they're going to be waking up early for the next couple of days straight when they don't need to.
Yeah, and that is. They get back into the spring training routine, and it is nice. You feel normal. You go home. You can see the kids, barbecue, do whatever you want at home. That's nice. The weather's been beautiful.
Yeah.
Especially after wins.
Well, that's...
that even makes it, the food tastes better, the drink tastes better, whatever you choose.
Shopik a swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
Yeah, you get a chance to maybe sleep in a little bit tomorrow, and your eyes will be wide open at about 8, 7.
Now the 0-2 from Shaw. And Shopik swing and a miss, strikes out, 2 down. Let's get the answer to the AT&T trivia question. I don't even remember what it was. Oh, yeah, 2020 guys for Seattle. I had Mike Cameron.
Well, Griffey had to be one.
Who are we missing? A-Rod.
Yeah. Okay, of course.
Here's Robert Andino. A single and a double. Andino flinched. In there for a strike, 1-1 to count. Outside with it. 2 balls and a strike. 5 runs, 8 hits, an error, 3 left so far for Seattle. 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors, 4 stranded for the Indians. 2-1 pitch. Chased one up high to even the count. And the 2-2 is ripped foul. Headed into the club seat section. Shaw ready, the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. He got him to go fish. Couple of strikeouts for Brian Shaw. He sets him down 1-2-3 here in the 6th inning. We stay tied at 5. To the Indians order coming up here. Michael Brantley, Ryan Rayburn, Jan Gomes. This trio has done some damage here today. They've combined for 4 hits, 5 runs batted in, and 3 runs scored.
That's pretty much the damage of the day.
Yep. Michael Brantley walked and scored in the second, drove in a run with a base hit in the third. That's the last run of the game for the Indians. Starts this one with a big bouncer to first. Smoak will go himself, 1 away. Our AT&T U-verse rewind. Let's go back to Ryan Rayburn's first at bat in the second inning. Close pitch, 2 strikes. And Iwakuma thought he had him struck out to end the inning. No dice. Next pitch, Rayburn ropes one. It looks like a fair ball, but called foul. And then a 3-run homer.
Yeah, how about that? That got him rolling in the second where they threw a 4-spot on him.
Iwakuma, his best stretch of the game. He's retired 5 in a row.
Well, it seems like he has settled in since that third inning. He's been able to get that slow breaking ball and pitches over and down for strikes.
Rayburn out in front.
That's the pitch that's been the equalizer for him. Coming in there 72, 73 miles per hour, the big slow hook.
He's got Rayburn down on the count of 1-2. Up high with it. Evens the count. And the 2-2 pitch is driven down the right field line. Twisting, foul. You know, back in that third inning, the Indians had Iwakuma a little bit on the ropes. They had 2 on and only 1 out. A run was already in. At that point, the Indians had taken a 5-4 lead, and Ryan Rayburn was at the plate. But he hit one to third that turned into an inning-ending double play. And Iwakuma has been able to settle in ever since. Got another double play ball behind him in the fourth. Three-two, full count now. Of the 95 pitches for Iwakuma today, 60 of those have been for strikes. The payoff pitch to Rayburn. On the ground to short. Ryan throws him out, 2 down.
It'll be Dollar Dog Night next homestand when we return. It'll be Friday night. Also fireworks. It'll be against the Tampa Bay Rays. You get hot dogs, $1 all night long. Get your tickets at Indians.com.
The batter, Jan Gomes, homered in the second, and a base hit, solid line drive in the fourth to left field. Takes low, ball 1.
Gomes' home run came off an 0-2 pitch that he hit up into the home run porch. Already 3 home runs. What a pleasant surprise he's been.
Takes for a strike. Indians parted with Ishmael Rogers in the offseason, sending him to Toronto. They get Jan Gomes, and you get Mike Aviles.
Right. Both have been big additions to this club. You know, you don't look at that as a trade because when they got rid of Rogers, they ended up replacing him with Albers and of course, with Shaw.
Yeah.
So
Aviles never really even touched down in Toronto. He'd
right.
been traded there by Boston and then just quickly flipped around back to Cleveland. So
that's a trade that is like, holy smokes, it's paid dividends, and you only gave up Ishmael Rogers.
It's one of those that doesn't get a lot of publicity or register a lot, but any good team, there's a few of those trades that help build some of the core pieces there.
That one has certainly helped.
Iwakuma, 63% strikes so far today. 3-2 pitch to Gomes. And he strikes him out. So the Indians go 1-2-3 for the second inning in a row, and we'll go to the seventh, still tied at 5. Brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. 5-5 our score. Moving to the seventh inning today here at Progressive Field. Indians trying to sweep the 4-game series from Seattle. Mariners trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. But this one all tied up going to the seventh inning. And Brian Shaw worked a 1-2-3-6, stays on. They'll face the number 9 hitter, Brendan Ryan, to start. Ryan 0 for 2 today. Did drive in a run, the last run of the game for Seattle, that tied it at 5. Pop back.
You know, you look back at that inning, too, and they had second and third with nobody out. So Ryan hits the ground ball and is able to get to run in from third, but also move that guy from second to third. And then the next ground ball that Saunders hit, Swisher made a nice play to get him at home plate. Kept it a 5-5 game.
In the air, right field, on the run. Rayburn can't get to it. It drops for a hit. And Ryan quickly puts the brakes on. He was thinking about going for a double.
You go back to that inning after they tied it up. Saunders hits the ball. Swisher gets a one-hop smash and able to throw it to Jan Gomes to cut off that run at home plate. And that's where we stand.
Michael Saunders tries to bunt, and it's caught by Gomes. Nice play by the Indians catcher to quickly turn around and grab that bunt. It was popped straight up by Saunders.
Watch him push at the ball. He pushes at it and, just didn't have his bat head out far enough and popped it up, and that's a frustrating at bat when you're the guy that you want to move that runner over. You see Gomes look it right into the glove, and they get their first out. And, boy, you'll definitely take it.
One on, one out. Jason Bay, the batter, has walked, singled, scored 2 runs. Cody Allen loosening in the Tribe bullpen. Brian Shaw delivers, and a fastball strike evens the count at 1-1. There you see Cody Allen getting loose. Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down to second. Oh, they got him. What another great throw by Yan Gomes. And once again, it's Kipnis who applies the tag. 2 would-be Mariners base stealers caught red-handed here today.
Yan Gomes has got a terrific arm. And you know what, though? This is a hit and run. And that's where the hitter has to put the ball in play. Eric Wedge is trying to start it. You're not going to start Brendan Ryan, I don't think, for a straight steal with 1 out unless you know you can steal the base. So to me, that looks like a hit and run, 1-1 count. You think you're going to get a pitch to hit, and he swings through it.
And he swings through that one as well, and the inning is over. Stretch time in Cleveland. We are tied at 5. Time now for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard. Buying a car shouldn't be. Bottom of the 7th inning. And the Mariners go to their bullpen for the first time today. A lot of kids here at the ballpark. Some folks skipping out on work. Yoervis Medina, for the 12th time this year, will come on to face the top of the Indians' order. Michael Bourne, Jason Kipnis, and Asdrubal Cabrera.
He was the man on the mound when they had the bases loaded play at home plate. They were able to win where the throw was offline, or I should say, The catcher took his foot and wasn't standing on home plate.
Michael Bourne 0 for 3 today. Though Rick and I both felt Bourne should have been credited with a hit in the second inning on a tough play where Iwakuma had to come off the mound, field the ball. He needed to make a perfect throw. The throw was, up the line into the runner. It was ruled an error. Yeah.
Tough play. Well, let's see if he can get on there and make something happen.
Takes ball 1. Two and 0 the count. Taking again, 3 balls, no strikes. Jason Kipnis waiting on deck as Bourne figures to be taking all the way here, 3-0. And he walks on 4 straight.
Well, not the way you want to start it if you're the Mariners.
Before Jason Kipnis steps in, let's go back to the Hyundai Studios for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt, Rick, one of the games this afternoon in the American League, Toronto and Tampa Bay. Blue Jays were up 3-1 here in the top of the 3rd inning, but Evan Longoria, a 2 RBI double, his 28th and 29th RBIs of the year, tie the game at 3. Still tied at 3, bottom of the 5th, Matt.
All right, thanks, Al. Here comes Kipnis now, a single, a walk in the ball game. Go ahead run at first. Mariners chatted up on the infield. They know Bourne has tremendous speed and will be looking to perhaps get himself into scoring position here.
Well, certainly if you're Medina, you didn't want to walk Michael Bourne of all people because of the way he could run. But, they're talking about what are we going to do if they bunt. There's a number of ways you can go here with the speed of Michael Bourne.
Kipnis was looking to bunt. Shopik kicks it away, and Bourne can go to second himself.
Oh, that's a gift there.
Kelly Shopik dropped the ball, and then when he went to find it, he inadvertently kicked it away from himself.
Yeah.
And Bourne just took off.
You know what? That ball, Kipnis will pull the bat back on a ball, and that ball went off his thumb. That's all. It had movement on it, so I didn't see that sink. I thought he had it in the glove first, man, but he never did. And it trickled away. And Bourne able to get to second base. There you go. Now get him to third.
So the pass ball puts the go-ahead run in scoring position, and now Jason Kipnis squares, takes. It's low again, 2-0, and Medina has yet to throw a strike.
You got to take a strike, I would think. Make this guy get in the strike zone. He's thrown 6 pitches and has not found it yet.
He swings at it, fouls it back.
Well, they figured, okay, he's got to throw a fastball. As hot as Kipnis has been, let him go ahead and swing.
Yeah.
I don't want to give up and out here on that situation. So Kipnis had the opportunity to take a swing and fouled it back.
By the way, that pass ball for Kelly Shopik, his first of the year. And Kipnis pulls the bat back, taking a strike. It's 2-2.
Gave him his one shot for the swing. He fouled it off. He put the bunt back on, and there's a nice backdoor breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. Gets him back into the count.
Pulls it up the first base line. It does stay fair. He gets the runner over to third.
Did you see Kipnis? He wanted it to stay fair. I mean, he was thinking, okay, because it stays fair, I do my job. I get my runner over. Now you give Cabrera the opportunity. He just beats it into the ground. Watch him. Watch his left arm say, stay fair. Fair ball. There you go. Yes, it is. And there's the umpire using his right arm. He's saying thank you. Now he moves it along and give your other guy an opportunity.
Well, Asdrubal Cabrera will have the chance. He's had a tough day. 2 strikeouts his first 2 times up, and then his last at bat With a runner at second and 2 down, he sent a line drive, a scorcher right back up the middle and right into the glove of Hisashi Iwakuma to end the inning. That was the last ball the Indians hit hard in this game. There's a ball in the dirt.
Cabrera's seen 13 pitches, 9 strikes today. So he has been aggressive early, so they started him off breaking ball and they miss.
Boy, that's hard to figure. Only 1 out of 9 times has Cabrera been able to get him home with less than 2 outs.
Well, take a deep breath and relax. That's not very good at all. And it off his foot. Bourne had an excellent jump, so that tells you he's going on contact. Bourne had an excellent jump, but this ball goes off the foot of Cabrera. Right down there. It doesn't look like it gets him a whole lot, but it got him right off the toe. You could tell by the spin on the baseball.
So Michael Bourne resets at third with 1 down and a 1-1 count now on Cabrera. Way outside. 2 balls and a strike. Infield in for Seattle. Cut of the grass all the way around. 2-1 pitch. Down low. 3 balls and a strike.
That's a good pitch to take right there. He's trying to play on the aggressiveness of Cabrera. Go with that breaking ball down and in, but he doesn't chase after it. Now you get a 3-1 count. You're patient. Look at Wedge looking at the scorecard, see what's coming, what's happening.
Nick Swisher's on deck. Now the 3-1 pitch. Slowly chopped to short. Ryan. It's cut off by the pitcher and he drops the ball. Bourne scores. The Indians take the lead. Medina cut in front of Ryan, but then he dropped the ball, so they had no chance to get anybody. And the Indians are up 6-5.
That's the game speeding up on him. The young pitcher Medina. And I told you he was going on contact and speed of Michael Brantley again plays havoc on the defense. He looked at home when he saw he had no chance. Watch the jump. Brantley got a great jump. Bourne. And look at it. He wanted to go home, and then he made the decision, I got to go to first. He drops the ball. That allows Cabrera to reach. I would think that's got to be an error there.
Well, he had no play at home.
No. That's a base hit? Okay, fielder's choice RBI. But the speed of Michael Bourne, really, he walked him, able to get to second on a pass ball. That was a gift run there for the Indians that they certainly will take. They didn't get a ball out of the infield past the pitcher, and they have a run. Well, yeah, they did. I take that back. Kipnis rolled one to first base to get the runner from second to third. With an easy run, they retake the lead. It's 6-5.
And now Nick Swisher with a runner at first. It's still only 1 out. Down low, ball 1. Missed outside with it again, 2-0.
Having a tough time throwing strikes in the inning. Out of his 16 pitches, 11 have been balls. Boy, at this point of the game, you certainly have to make the hitters put it in play.
Swisher takes it's down and in. 3-0. And Carlos Santana waiting on deck as the Mariner bullpen heating up. Yoervis Medina. Will he face Santana, or is the bullpen probably not ready yet? It's ball 4, not even close. So he's walked 2 in the inning. One has already come around to score. Cabrera goes into scoring position. And Carlos Santana coming up as Oliver Perez is trying to get loose, but the catcher, you can see he's not even close to ready yet. So it's up to Santana against Medina with 2 out, and only with 2 on and only 1 out. Santana doubled and scored in the second, flied to deep center in the third, struck out his last time up. And it's ball 1. Low, 2 balls, no strikes.
Everything. I mean, Shopik's putting down breaking balls, change, anything he's got, he's put down. He cannot throw strikes.
Well, 15 out of 20 he's missed the zone with.
Don't help him out. Force him to get in there. Shopik going to really slow it down now and hope that bullpen gets ready in a hurry. And they're doing the right thing. This guy has struggled from the very first hitter.
Well, Perez should be ready here momentarily, but you got Mark Reynolds coming up next. I don't know if you want to go.
You know, I don't think it matters the way this guy's pitching right now. It doesn't matter. You got to have somebody in there that can throw strikes. They've given the Indians a run. The Indians have 2 balls hit weekly on the infield. And they still have 2 runners on and 1 out.
Santana takes, it's a strike, 2-1. Tried by a run, but a chance for more now with 2 on, 1 out, 2-1 pitch. Santana clubs one high in the air. Deep center. Back is Saunders. Onto the track, makes the catch right up against the wall. Both runners tag and both runners move up. But now there are 2 down in the inning. Boy, Santana didn't miss by much. Second time he's driven a ball to deep center field today and moved runners up.
Well, it'll be a huge break if Seattle can get out here with just giving up the 1. But Mark Reynolds, as he's done so well this year with 2 outs, runners in scoring position. If the Indians can add on here, you can break the back of the Seattle Mariners. Or the Spirit with a 2-out base hit here.
Swung on and missed. Reynolds has hit .474 coming into today, but on the year, a .340 hitter with runners in scoring position, but with 2 outs, he's 9 for 19. There's a fly ball left field. Bay comes in, makes the catch. The Indians get the go-ahead run across, and we'll go to the 8th, 6-5 Tribe. Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. All right, we go now to the 8th inning. Vinny Pistano coming on after Brian Shaw went 2 scoreless innings. And defensively now, Drew Stubbs takes over for Ryan Rayburn in right field. Well, you know what? You can't emphasize enough. You're not going to – you'd love to have your starter go 6 innings every time or 7 innings every time. Every once in a while, you're going to have a bump in the road, though.
Hey, absolutely.
And what the bullpen has done today has been outstanding. You know, Albers 2 innings, 1 hit, shutout baseball.
Right.
Shaw 2 innings, 1 hit, shutout baseball.
Well, they're fresh. They haven't had to burn these guys out in this series. In a 4-game series, that's what happens a lot. You burn that bullpen out, and somebody's got to stay out there a while. They're fresh. Terry's been able to match up. Now they get the run in the bottom half of the 7th, and he's got his big boys in there.
No walks, 5 strikeouts so far for that bully, as Vinny Pistano tries to work through the 8th now.
And you mentioned it, April 16th was the last time they had a start like that. So well over a month ago.
Yeah, you'll take one short start every month.
My goodness. It's been, I'm saying we're spoiled from what we've been seeing.
Kyle Seager 1 for 3 today. 3 for 14 in the series. 2-1 to count. Pop back out of play. Saw Bruce Drennan in the hallway between innings. He can't wait to get to your calls and emails immediately following Indians Live after the ballgame right here on Sports Time Ohio. All bets are off. Comes your way.
Well, if it stays this way, he'll have a good afternoon, won't he?
Yes, he will. Two. Pounded foul. How about this day in 1938? 24-year-old rookie, third-string catcher Henry Helf caught a ball dropped off the Terminal Tower.
No kidding.
Estimated to be traveling at the speed of 138 miles an hour.
Very good. That's a pretty good heater right there.
2-2 pitch. Drilled deep right field, and we are tied. Kyle Seager.
Every time the Indians have scored, Seattle has responded. And he gets a breaking ball down and in, speeds up his bat, and we have a 6-6 ball game. Seager, his 6th homer.
Now Seager, no doubt about it.
Down and in, where the lefties love it. All right, we're back to even.
I mentioned earlier he's been probably the most consistent performer for the Mariners this season. Seager, a team-high 22 runs batted in now.
Loves hitting against the Indians, loves this ballpark.
This guy, though, is starting to really heat up now. Kenry Morales 3 for 3 today with 2 doubles, 2 runs batted in. Foul back out of play. Breaking ball outside corner. He gets ahead 1-2. Fouled back. Frankie Pitlack, another backup catcher, also caught a ball off the terminal tower that same day. You told me you almost were.
Well, they asked me to do it back in the 70s, mid-70s, and I said, sure, I'd do it. And what was the big deal? You go up there and they throw it off, and you just, who knows, you dance around downtown to catch it. Gabe Paul, who was the general manager back then, said, no, you can't do it. Not allowed.
Morales, a one-hop smash to second base, and Kipnis did well to grab that one. Throws him out, one down. Looking back at our keys to the game, a win for the Tribe would give him a 4-game sweep. Scott Kazmir did not have his fastball command today. And the Indians have continued their 2-out hitting, but there's been a lot of runs scored today, 6-6. Here in the 8th now as Michael Moore steps in 1 for 3. In 1980, they did another one of those deals at the Terminal Tower, but they did it with softballs. And I remember the story because I was at Channel 5 and I saw the old video story of that. And that was a car. I think a car took a ball through the windshield.
Yeah.
And I think a girl might have broken her wrist trying to catch one, too.
Oh, you had female softball players that were receiving the ball? No kidding.
Well, there it is. The Cleveland downtown landmark, the Terminal Tower. Kenny Keltner was the one who threw the ball off the Terminal Tower that the guys in 1938 caught. Swing and a miss.
I knew Kenny, who was a terrific guy.
And, of course, he'll be forever remembered in Cleveland lore as the man who helped bring about the end of Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. Some great plays at third base in that night. Outside 2-2 to Michael Morse. Mariners bullpen is busy. We are tied at 6 here in the 8th inning now. Popped him up. Michael Bourne calling for it, and the center fielder makes the catch, 2 gone. Stay tuned for Indians Live coming up later after the ball game. Highlights, analysis, and a whole lot more. Brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Justin Smoak will bat now, 0 for 3 on the day. So you would have had no fear whatsoever trying to catch a ball coming straight down at 130, 140 miles an hour.
No. I wouldn't have had any fear. It would have been in the pocket of my glove. If it goes through, then you're in trouble.
You might have wanted some reinforced stitching.
You just hope it wasn't a windy day. You know?
Yeah.
No, you don't think about it because you figure how much speed is it going to pick up. I back then I wouldn't have realized it was that fast. If you would have told me how fast it was coming, I might have put on a catcher's mask.
About an armored suit.
No, I would try it.
Wow, that almost picked off the ball boy.
He was quick.
He sure was.
He's
moving.
Lucky it was off the end of the bat. He made a nice dodge to the right. Good job, young man, and that's why they have him wearing helmets over there. Sneaks into the Indians' dugout. They all got out of the way. Was it Millsy and Tito?
Yeah, they were all moving quickly. Pistano's 2-1 pitch outside. 3 balls and a strike.
When you're young, you do anything.
That's true.
You know, when you think about it, you have no fear.
That's right.
Only in the later years do you become wiser, my friend.
Full count. You start thinking about things like mortality.
You start thinking, do I really want to live?
If I miss this ball, what's the worst thing that could happen? 2 down on the bases empty, tied at 6 here in the 8th inning. The 3-2 offering is hit high in the air on the infield. Cabrera with that shift on makes the catch. And the inning is over. But not before Kyle Seager ties the game with a solo home run, 6-6. Six our score, bottom of the 8th inning. And Oliver Perez, the left-hander, coming on for the Mariners. He'll be the 3rd Seattle pitcher to work today. He's got the bottom third of the tribe order: Michael Brantley, Drew Stubbs, and Yan Gomes. Michael Brantley is 1 for 2. Walked and scored in the 2nd, an RBI single in the 3rd. Oliver Perez, the left-hander, comes ready. He deals. And Brantley takes ball 1. Called a strike to even the count.
Perez came on in game number 2 that Kipnis started it with a base hit after they tied it up.
It was his run that scored that won that game for the Indians. Though it was Medina who was on when the game ended.
Right. So it's flip-flop today. Medina came on. Had a tough time with control last inning. Walked the leadoff man. They didn't get a ball out of the infield, and they were able to score a run. He had control issues.
Perez with the 2-1. Threw it by him.
But the one thing today you got to say about Seattle, every time the Indians have scored, and Seattle jumped out first in the 1st. In the 2nd, they came back and scored in the 3rd. After the Indians came back, so did they. They came back in the 7th. They jumped up in the 8th. They won't let them get away or give them any momentum.
Now, they've showed no quit for a team that has lost the first 3 games of this series. 2-2 pitch.
Good pitch.
And Brantley out looking to start the bottom of the 8th. And that was the thing that Eric Wedge told his team. Like, look, we could have won the first 2 games of this series. Don't focus on the fact that, we've lost all 3, but focus on the fact that, ball goes our way or we make a play here or there. We could have won the first 2 of this series. But they're trying to just salvage the finale today. However, it's the Indians who are looking for the sweep. Oliver Perez gets the lefty. The right-hander's coming on when we come back. Here in the bottom of the 8th inning, Carter Capps now, the right-hander, on to face Drew Stubbs. And it's up high, ball 1.
Capps, a guy with a great arm, appearing for the 18th time, 2-1, 29 strikeouts in his 22 1/3 innings. He gets it up there, mid-90s. Good slider.
There's a slider in for a strike, 1-1. Fastball went up and in. Stubbs did not start today. He came on defensively when the Indians took the 6-5 lead. Just 1 for 9 in the series, but that one hit was a home run. This one's popped up on the infield. Andino makes the catch, 2 down. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Back in the 2nd inning, Ryan Rayburn, a 2-out, 3-run homer to put the Tribe on top 3-2. And the next man up, Yan Gomes, sent one to the porch to make it 4-2. The back-to-back home runs for the Indians. Fifth time this year they've had back-to-back home runs. 10th time they've hit 2 or more home runs in an inning. Gomes taking a strike. Well, 11th time this year they've hit 2 or more home runs in an inning. It's the 10th time, though, they've done it at home. Gomes struck out his last time up. He's down on the count here, 0-2 to Carter Capps. Two-strike pitch, and he strikes him out. So we'll go to the 9th, tied at 6. comes your way right after the ball game. Brought to you by Conrad's. All the highlights, analysis. We'll break it all down immediately following the Indians-Mariners series finale here today. Chris Perez coming on to pitch the ninth now for the Tribe, trying to keep it a tie ball game. He'll face the bottom third of the Seattle order. 16th appearance of the year.
He's going to face a pinch hitter for Kelly Shoppach.
It's going to be Endy Chavez. Left-handed batter.
Chavez 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter this year. The Mariners 6 for 20 as a team.
That's drilled pretty well, deep right center field. Racing back, Stubbs looking up. It's gone. And Seattle takes the lead. One pitch here in the ninth inning. And Chavez drills it out of here.
For Seattle, their first pinch hit home run of the year. And it didn't take long, did it? They come back and they respond here in the ninth.
And I think that's the first home run of the year for Chavez. Yep.
Well, you look at it down and in. He gives it a ride.
Robert Andino, a couple of hits on the day. Breaking ball in for a strike. And Perez gets ahead 1-2. Tom Wilhelmsen getting loose for Seattle. Wilhelmsen is fifth in the American League with 11 saves. And he is perfect on the year, 11 for 11. Strike called. Andino is out looking. He was headed to first base thinking he had a walk.
Comes back. Looks like a fastball away. Gets the call. Laz Diaz rings him up. Andino didn't think so. Out number one.
Brendan Ryan will be the batter, 1 for 3 on the day. Threw it by him with a good fastball. 1-1. Two and 1 the count. That pitch outside, 3-1. Bullseye, full count. Chris Perez pitched for Eric Wedge back in 2009. That's when the Indians acquired him at the end of June for Mark DeRosa. That year, Chris appeared in 32 games. He had one save that season. It's ball 4 to Brendan Ryan. And the Mariners have one on with one out. Top of the order coming up now. Mickey Callaway getting on the horn. You know, you go back earlier in the series when Chris had that outing.
Game 2.
He gave up back-to-back home runs to left-handed hitters at Banez and Smoak. Chavez, the left-handed hitter, hits one out here today.
Yeah, 3 home runs he's given up. Well, they ended up tying that game on Saturday, and this is the go-ahead homer today on a pinch hitter. Of anybody, you wouldn't think Endy Chavez, but when you look at the location, you'll see why.
The 0-1 in there for a strike. Saunders 0 for 4 today, 1 for 13, as you see there in the series. Swung on and missed. He strikes him out. 2 down.
When you go back to Saturday, you can see there's a Banez making it a 1-run game on a fastball, home run, and then it was Justin Smoak, another fastball that tied the game. They were back to back, and then today comes in his first hitter, second pitch, over the line into the seats, and Seattle takes a 7-6 lead.
Jason Bay. Runner goes. Gomes throw. A little bit off the mark. Ryan with his 3rd steal on the year. He was caught once earlier in the game.
Well, here, you know, he's not paying attention to him a whole lot because he's working on getting that hitter out. Gomes couldn't even come up for the throw. He had to throw from his knees. So Ryan gets a stolen base, and they're looking to try and add an insurance run here if possible, if they can get a 2-out base hit.
Just a little bit low.
Pretty good pitch. Look at that slider down at the knees. He must have been calling this one too low. Well, not a bad pitch.
Now the 1-2. Almost hit him. 2 balls, 2 strikes. With Ryan at second base, Perez takes aim on the 2-2 pitch. A little bit outside on a full count. Perez the payoff pitch, and he walked him. Left-handed hitting Kyle Seager will be the batter. David Huff appears to be ready, but Terry Francona going to stay with his closer right now. Seager homered his last time up in the 8th off Vinny Pistano. That tied the game. And then Endy Chavez put Seattle ahead with a solo homer here in the 9th. Fouled back out of play. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, you've got the top of the order due up for the Indians. Tom Wilhelmsen has been perfect thus far on the year for Seattle. But then again, the top 2 ERA guys are 2 of the top ERA guys in baseball were Felix Hernandez and Hisashi Iwakuma. And the Indians did plenty of damage against those 2. 0-2 the count on Seager. Two on, 2 out, 0-2 pitch. A little bit outside. Now the 1-2. Reached for it and pulls it foul. Gomes going to go out for a brief chat. Perez trying to work out of this jam and keep it a 1-run game. Now the 1-2 to Kyle Seager. In the air left field. Back goes Brantley. He'll make the catch, and the inning is over. But a solo home run by Endy Chavez, a pinch hit blast, has the Mariners in front 7-6. Seven-6 Seattle, bottom of the 9th inning. And the Tribe will send the top of the order to the plate here against Tom Wilhelmsen. Perfect 11 of 11 in save situations. 18 innings of work. He has walked 5, struck out 13. Jesus Montero taking over behind the plate after they pinch hit for Kelly Shopik. And Endy Chavez stays in the game. He's now in right field.
Well, Wilhelmsen appearing in his 18th game. He's retired the first hitter in all 17 games that he has pitched in. That certainly helped him. That's why he's 11 for 11 save opportunities. This guy has been brilliant for Eric Wedge this year. He hasn't allowed a hit to a right-handed hitter. And he's going to see all left-handers so far in this inning. And it's going to be the leadoff man, Michael Bourne.
Low for ball one. Bourne walked and scored in the seventh. Lays off. It's a called strike, and the count evens at 1-1. Foul right back, 1-2. Wilhelmsen's first action in the series, but able to come right out and throw strikes after sitting out the last 3 games. Bourne wraps one to center field, but it's right at Saunders, who reaches up to snare it for out number 1. In-game box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. Now, the Indians did a lot of damage early in this ball game, but not much late. Big 3-run homer by Rayburn. Solo shot by Gomes. Brantley an RBI hit. But you got to give Seattle some credit today. They've swung the bats well, and they have continued to come back all day long.
Yeah, they've had an answer every time the Indians have scored. So now we'll see if the Indians have any magic left here, down to their last 2 outs.
Jason Kipnis, 1 hit on the day. 7 hits in the series. Wilhelmsen deals. Strike over the outside corner. Guy looks like just an easy 96, 97.
Yeah, he is easy with a good breaking ball to go with it.
A little bit low, 3-1 the count. Bouncing ball up the middle. Backhanded by Andino. Off balance throw. And Kipnis is safe at first. Smoak couldn't dig it out. Andino had to go to the off balance spinning throw, and Kipnis with an infield single with 1 out here in the ninth.
Well, he had to get rid of it in a hurry, knowing that Jason's running down the line. So he's got to jump, throw it, and make an accurate throw, and Smoak can't pick it out. So it'll go as an infield single. It's a tough pick. Doesn't get help, but watch how quickly he's got to get rid of it, knowing his momentum going out toward the outfield. It's tough to get an accurate throw off. So the Indians will have the tying run aboard.
And as Drupal Cabrera coming to the plate, 0 for 4 on the day. Wilhelmsen deals. And the fastball misses low for ball 1. Fouled out of play to the left, 1-1 to count.
Tying run at first for the Tribe here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Good hack, but a foul back. And it's 1-2 at 97 miles an hour. Nick Swisher waiting on deck. Cabrera takes aim. Down on the count, though, 1-2. Shoots it out of play again. And the count stays a ball and 2 strikes. Out of the Mariners' 20 wins this year, 11 times it has been Wilhelmsen who has earned the save to secure those victories. Jump throw to first. Kipnis back in time.
It looked like he was thinking about it, too. I mean, he had a peak. He was off. He had to really get back there in a hurry. You know, the pitch, if you were to go, would be that breaking ball you wanted to go on.
Again, it's fouled out. Every ball he's fouled out has been in the same spot.
Was he fouled off 4 straight? And they're like 97 to 99. So this guy's rearing back and just bringing some heat. Some high octane heat.
Yeah. Montero took over for Kelly Shopick here in the ninth. Working the game behind the plate. The 1-2 came with the slider finally and got him. Good breaking ball. And there are 2 down.
There's the equalizer. After 4 straight 90-plus fastballs, he throws that curveball, and I mean, it's just so tough to wait on. You're geared up for it. You almost break your back going out there. You see it, and you got to get started, and you can't hold up.
Yeah, he's 97, 98. That curveball is at 80 miles an hour.
Pitch before that was 99, so he's 15 miles difference on that breaking ball.
Comes down to this. It's Nick Swisher or bust for the Tribe now. 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Wilhelmsen deals. Swisher with a line drive. That's going to drop for a base hit. Kipnis the tying run on his way to third. And he'll go in there standing safely. So first and third with 2 down here in the ninth as Nick Swisher just floated one beyond the reach of Robert Andino. And now the Tribe with an opportunity here in the bottom of the ninth as Carlos Santana will be coming up. Santana is 1 for 4 on the day as Carl Willis is going to go out for a talk.
Well, the Indians, no quit in the Indians. They're trying to come back here off a tough reliever, and they are sending all left-handers up.
Swisher removed for a pinch runner.
Now, the reason why Willis may be out to the mound, now think about it. You've got Santana as Aviles comes in. Santana's the hitter. Okay, not to say that, Wilhelmsen is not going to pitch to him or anything like that, but you do have a right-hander on deck. Right-handers have not had a hit off him all year.
Right.
So, just maybe reminding him. Plus, the way this guy throws, if he makes his pitches, it's, he's.
Yeah.
Swisher kept it alive, just fought it off, and Blooped it into right field for a base hit to continue the inning.
So let's see if Santana can deliver. Base hit would tie the game. Extra base hit could potentially win it.
Get me over curveball, strike one to the fastball hitter.
Ground ball. Smoak knocks it down. He'll turn, he'll flip, and that's... The ball gets away! Wilhelmsen dropped it! He dropped the ball, and the Indians have tied the game. Oh, my. Wilhelmsen, it was all over. But I think when he kicked the base, he must have...
He missed it.
Dislodged the ball, or he just didn't catch it.
Smoak had it. The easy flip. The pitcher covering. I think he missed the base going his first time and tried to kick it, and the ball came out of his glove. Let's look. Smoak makes a nice play, gives him the flip.
Oh, he never caught it, Rick.
No, never caught the baseball. He did kick the bag, and then he slipped. The Indians tied the game here with 2 outs. It'll go as an error on Wilhelmsen. So,
wow.
Still alive. Can you believe it?
And now the winning run is at second base. As Mark Reynolds comes to the plate. Now, Rick told you, right-handed hitters are 0 for 30 on the year against Wilhelmsen. Swing and a miss.
Well, that brought this crowd back into it a little bit.
Way out in front of the breaking ball. And a count 0-2. Reynolds. Got a piece of that to stay alive. And that got a pretty good chunk of Montero as he'll try to shake it off. Boy, you know, when things like that happen, you start thinking, you know, maybe it's maybe
special.
the worm has turned. Maybe it's your year.
Well, they do. They catch a big break there. This game should be over, and they have a chance to win it here. Although Reynolds is down 0-2 in the count, and the right-hander has not had a hit off this guy all year.
The 0-2 strikes him out. We've got extra innings here at Progressive Field. The Indians come back to tie it and hang the first blown save of the year on Tom Wilhelmsen. All season long, Jack Link's Feed Your Wild Side. Extra innings here today. And as we go to the 10th inning, Joe Smith coming on now to pitch for the Tribe.
Second extra inning game in the series.
17th appearance for Joe. 1-0 and 060 earned run average. Struck out 15 and walked 4. All kind of defensive changes for the Indians after the maneuvering by Terry Francona. Henry Morales cuts at the first pitch and fouls it back. Mike Aviles is now at third base defensively, and Mark Reynolds goes over from third to first.
Well, the pattern today for Seattle has been respond. They've done it to this point. See if Smitty can hold them down and give that offense a chance.
That's down the line, but slicing out of play. Morales started out like a house of fire. An RBI double in the first, an RBI single in the third. He doubled in the fifth. They finally retired him on a ground out in the eighth.
And that ball was hit right on the nose, too. If you remember, Kipnis made a really nice play on that ball.
He went too far and strikes out. So Joe Smith gets the K, one down here in the 10th. Well, here's why we're in extra innings. Bottom of the ninth. Santana grounds out. Should he just take it himself, Smoak?
Well, you know, the pitcher was right there. He gave him a good flip. I mean, he probably could have, but there he is. Just give up the easy flip, and Wilhelmsen just couldn't catch the ball and touch the base. He took his eye off it a little too early before he caught it. And, boy, what a break that is for the Indians. And that cost him his first blown save.
Here is Jesus Montero. First at bat of the day, and he has been victimized by that slider throughout the series, regardless of who's pitching. Charlie Furbush, left-hander in the Seattle bullpen. Montero is swinging a miss. It's 0-2. Five pitches, 5 strikes for Joe Smith. And a ground ball to short. Cabrera takes his time, throws him out, 2 down. And that will bring up Justin Smoak, 0 for 4 so far here today. Shift on, 3 on the right side. Inside with the pitch. Bullseye, a strike to even the count of 1-1. That is hammered deep right field and gone. Wow.
This Seattle team has had the long ball working on them. So you know what? The response continues by Seattle. Continue to answer the Indians' call all day long.
That's 3 solo homers in the last 3 innings.
Yep. Off Pastano, Perez, and Smith. They come where this is an upper decker, or at least in the mezzanine. This one, no cheapie there. Fastball out and away. He's a good low ball hitter, and he drives it deep. No doubt about that one. 8-7 Seattle.
Now here is Endy Chavez. Out of play.
Chavez gave him the lead in the ninth, the leadoff home run as a pinch hitter. Now they hit a 2-out home run.
Back over to the screen. It's 0-2. Up the middle it goes. Kipnis sets, fires, got him. Inning over. We'll go to the bottom of the 10th. Bottom third of the Indians' order coming up. Down now, 8-7. Charlie Furbush coming on to try and close it out for the Mariners. The Indians will be sending Brantley, Stubbs, and Gomes to the plate. Michael Brantley, 1 for 3 on the day. Drew Stubbs, 0 for 1. And Yan Gomes, 2 for 4 with a homer.
Well, we told you, Seattle now, they both played 4 extra inning games. And one earlier in this series, the Indians went to 4-0 in extra inning games. Seattle went to 1-3. So Seattle trying to give the Indians their first loss in extra innings. And it's up to Michael Brantley to see what he can do.
Well, Brantley called out on strikes his last time up. On the year, coming into today's game, Michael was hitting .281 against left-handed pitchers. Takes ball 1. Furbush delivers. And Brantley takes it again inside 2-0. Now the lefty fires, and it's outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Charlie Furbush, the left-hander, trying to close for Seattle now here in the 10th inning. The 3-0 pitch. He finds the strike zone. Tom Wilhelmsen, the Seattle closer, was tagged with a blown save in the bottom of the ninth. due in large part to his own error. Wilhelmsen's 3-1. Wow, close. And just did catch the corner. Full count. (3-1) though, not a pitch Michael is even thinking about swinging at.
Well, that's all right. I mean, if it's not yours, take it. You got one more to go.
Payoff pitch. He floats it over the head of Andino, and it's in for a base hit. That's the second straight inning. The Indians have been able to just literally float one over the head of Andino. You could have taken and thrown it out there any better.
That's like a changeup going over there. You can't run fast enough to get there. It's placed perfectly. Brantley gets the hit. The Indians have a start now. That ball was up and in. Probably too close to take, but fights it off, bloops it in. It falls for a knock.
So the tying run is aboard as Drew Stubbs comes to the plate. The Mariners infielders convene at the mound talking it over. Stubbs is 0 for his last 8 at the plate. Mariners looking for the bunt.
Yeah, there's a good chance they're going to get it. Real good chance here.
Throw to first, and it looked like Drew was going to start to square. Not that there was a whole lot of mystery on the part of Seattle. He squares. He bunts it. Wilhelmsen fields it. Looks to second, drops the ball, throws the in. Oh, they called him out. They dropped the ball. Now he reverses the call and says he's safe. Wow. I think I said Wilhelmsen, but it was Furbush. Kind of making like Wilhelmsen last inning. He had the ball. He dropped it. And then when he fired to first, Smoak dropped it.
Boy, they have made some mistakes today, Seattle has. You're only going to go to first base. Furbush looked at second, never had the ball. He bobbled it, throws to first, and then by the time Smoak gets there, he drops it. He's safe. He called him out.
Which I don't think he was to begin with.
You know, that's awfully. Look at, he never caught the ball cleanly, so that error's got to be on him. Look at, there's out sign, ends up being safe. Now you've got another bunt situation. Sack, bunt, E3.
Boy, have we seen some odd happenings here today.
You know, Seattle, very good. They had 16 errors coming into today. They have 3. 2 by the pitchers, 1 there. Boy, they're trying to give it back. Jan Gomes now going to be up there to bunt.
Nearly the third pitcher error. Right. If Furbush hadn't, he dropped it, but he was able to pick it back up and make the throw to first, but then Smoak dropped it. So here now is Jan Gomes, 2 for 4 on the day with a home run, but we all expect a bunt now. He squares. He takes. It's high, ball 1.
Yeah, the key here, if you're Gomes, just make sure you get a strike you can bunt. Don't help him out.
Terry Francona nervously chomping away on that gum. Wants to see his team extend their win streak to 5 in a row. Gomes jabbed at it, came up empty.
Now, the first time they just stayed pat, and they were going to let Furbush cover the line. That time they put the wheel play on where they had the third baseman, first baseman charging, and Brendan Ryan sprinting to third base. So now they get their signs. They see what they want to do. Because normally you want that third, but you want to bunt it to the third baseman. Well, the one time they put on the wheel play, that may be the only time you don't if you want to bunt it hard.
They wheel again. Oh, almost hit him with it.
Don't know how he got out of the way.
2-1 to count.
You watch it from up top, and you watch a shortstop breaking a third. That's where he comes in. In comes a third baseman, the first baseman. They want to make the play at third base. They want that guy to bunt it. It doesn't matter where. They're looking to jump on it. You could actually bunt it out in the middle because it's going to be tough for the pitcher to get off and make that throw to third, especially the way he panicked last time.
Jan Gomes wanted to make sure he didn't miss the sign or misinterpret what they want him to do, so he goes right to Brad Mills, the third base coach.
He's not going to misinterpret. He can hold the sign up. Bunt.
2-1 count. Again, the Mariners go with the wheel play. He's not bunting, and the pitch is up high. 3 balls and a strike.
Okay, they took it off. They're going to give him the opportunity to swing. They didn't charge. Now Furbush digging a hole for himself. You know, and in that situation, Terry's thinking, well, if they want to continue to run, that opens holes up on the infield. Go ahead and swing the bat. So he's thinking, all right, if we're going to have a lot of movement and they want to keep running that play, I'll let him go ahead and swing and see if he can find a hole.
I don't think they're going to be moving on this one. Oh, yep, there they go. No, they faked it, and Gomes takes a strike, full count. So that time Ryan faked like he was going to go to third, but nobody else moved. And Gomes takes a strike, so now a full count.
He's just going back into position.
The 3-2. Gomes with a high fly ball. Left field. Back is Bay. On the track. At the wall. Goodbye! Yan Gomes, a game winner. A 3-run homer in the bottom of the 10th. And the Indians walk off again against the Mariners. Who needs a bunt? Their third walk-off win of the series against Seattle. And oh, how those errors came back to kill Seattle here today.
Boy, the offense comes back and picks up the tribe, picks up the bullpen, and what a day for Yan Gomes. His second home run. Give him 4 RBIs. He'll be the 9th player to do it on the Indians this year. That's scary, isn't it? He's up there to bunt and ends up hitting a 3-run home run.
Well, as I said before, the things that are going on so far this year, even the hardest cynic would have a tough time not believing that something special is going on here at Progressive Field. The Indians win again, 10-8, their 5th straight victory, 18 of their last 22, and they're now 9 games over 500 at 26-17, and the Detroit Tigers are coming in here tomorrow. Time now for our key play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank.
Well, we're just going to get a replay of the last pitch. He went down and in with a fastball. Gomes dropped the bat head. It was high. It was deep. They ran out of room, and it bounced into the seat for a game-winning home run. Look at Gomes. I mean, that is a very happy trot around the bases to end the game, and the Indians do it again. That is going to be our KeyBank key play of the game. Visit your local KeyBank branch for low rates on a home equity or auto loan. Certain conditions apply. See your branches for detail.
So the Indians sweep their second 4-game series of the season. This time it's Seattle that gets broomed out of town by Yan Gomes, who goes deep to the bleachers. 10-8 Cleveland. Indians Live is next.